I call this meeting of the Davenport Community School District Board of Directors to order. Director Kluhl, would you read our vision statement, please?
I'd be happy to. The vision statement of the Davenport Community School District is education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, our parents, our staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. Move on to showcase. Superintendent Tate.
Wilson Elementary School. Tanya Wilkins, the principal, is here with, looks like a cast of a bunch, maybe thousands, so thank you.
I would like to say thank you to everybody who's here, the staff and the parents. And it was so funny on the way over. I had a couple kiddos in the car, and they said, "I said I'm really nervous. I don't like speaking in front of the board." And they said, "But you talk in front of like 600 kids at the rallies." I'm like, it's so different. So anyway, so with some help, we have a Prezi that we would like to share with you. Maybe. Is it working? There you go. Okay. Oh, I gotta tell him. You do have some glasses that we would like you to put on. Yes. It just helps. And you look really cool when you wear them. Mm-hmm. You ready? Yes. Yes, you do. Okay. Ready? Over the course of the last year, we have decided to focus on positive behavior interventions and support. So we are in our first year at Wilson, and we're very excited about this venture, although it wasn't much of a shift for Wilson to go into this. But we are in year one of a PBIS school. Our mantra is SOAR, safety, ownership, cooperation, and respect. So you'll see that kind of throughout as we share our journey that we've been on for this past year. I will say, I need to say this, our staff they jumped on 100%. You need 80% to be a PBIS school, and Wilson was, I think we were at 99%. We had one person that was a little nervous about it, so we had 100% of our staff that got on board. Could not have done any of that if Ms. Glenda Currents, our counselor, hadn't laid a lot of the foundation. So it was a very easy shift for us to move into positive behavior interventions and supports. These are some videos that we will share. I'll let them play out and you can kind of see.
We are safe in our community by using the crosswalk. We are safe in the hallways by using the hallway procedures. Own your actions. Own your actions. If you do something wrong, you have to tell the truth and don't lie.
Own your actions. When you do something bad, accept the consequences and learn what you did from your mistake.
A. Always cooperate means to listen to your teachers.
Always cooperate means to be helpful to your teachers.
Always cooperate means to be fair.
R. Respect yourself. Respect others.
Respect yourself means take care of yourself. Respect yourself means take care of others.
Respect means showing caring and empathy to all.
The coolest part about those videos is that those students weren't scripted. They actually, that's the ownership that comes along with the SOAR piece of it. This triangle we refer to very often, and you can kind of see there's a connection between the academic instruction and the behavioral instruction. We talk about the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. And the green zone means that you're meeting the needs of 80 to 90% of the students with the systems that you have in place for academic instruction and behavior. The yellow zone, you meet between about 5 to 10% of your kids fall into that category, whether they need some supports with academics or behavior. Our focus right now is just on the behavior piece of it. And then we have our tertiary interventions, and that's our red zone, and that's 0 to 5% of the students fall within that category. So we are in year 1, which means we're focusing on the universal instruction on behavior, and we look at the 8 common expectations, 8 common areas that we teach the expectations. So in here, what we do is we develop and create, we have a PBIS team, and that team looks at data consistently, and they also help develop the lesson plans. And these are scripted, somewhat, lesson plans. We walk through it with the staff first, and then the staff walks through it with the students. So you'll notice the SOAR across the top, and they recognize where, what it means to be safe, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, what it means to have that ownership, what it means to be respectful and cooperative with everyone. And so then we walk through the lessons and we schedule a time when it's time to teach these expectations, and we do it by grade level. So every grade level has a specific time, and Ms. Currens and myself and Mrs. Gilliland are always a part of those because we think it's that important that the students hear it from all aspects, and we walk through what that looks like. We also have created the negative of what that behavior looks like. This one is our lesson plan for lining up outside in the mornings. And the only people that can demonstrate the negative behavior would be the adults. And so we have a few actors in our midst, and the teachers share these with the students so they can see what it looks like. Again, not a lot of script. And now they're demonstrating.
ABC order.
That's my fault. I can tell you I took mine. I want mine. Mine was that for her or your slide?
What is going on now? Sit down, everyone.
I like that book. Can we read together? Sure. Oh, good. Let's go. Excuse me. Pardon me. Thanks. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, yeah. Okay. You want to read first, or should I?
You read this page and I'll read this page.
Great job, boys and girls. It's time to come in. The classroom's so good. I know you love reading.
I love reading.
But you gotta put your books away on the way into class.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. Can we read later?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you, teacher.
I love you too.
I hope you had a good night. I did.
Welcome to
Could I
school.
give you some money or anything?
Oh, just an apple.
Okay.
Welcome to school this morning.
All right.
So those videos are created for every common area that we teach at the beginning of the year, and then we revisit those as we see fit. You'll notice down on the left-hand side, this is called our behavioral expectation matrix. So across the top, we have our SOAR. And then down along the left-hand side, you see that we teach the hallway expectations, the bathroom, playground and recess, cafeteria, buses, assembly, and the computer. And we have a video that comes along with it, and then a lesson plan that we teach along with those too. So we share those with the students, and then we practice with each grade level. And then we always come back to it to see how effective it is. And that's according to our discipline referrals and when students are sent out of the classroom. So that is our school-wide expectations SOAR matrix. And this is data that we share. Our PBIS team looks at it often. And we are consistently coming back. And you'll notice now within that triangle, we have used that. The green is for 0 to 2 referrals. So the number of students that have 0 to 2 referrals at Wilson is 89% of our students have 0 to 2. And when I talk about a referral, that means they've been sent out of the classroom for not being under instructional control, or it's something that's happened outside or in the hallway. 7% of our students have 3 to 5 referrals, and then we have, I think it's just 1%. No, 4% of our students have 6+ referrals. Although our focus is to just look at that green zone this year, we obviously can't turn a blind eye to our kids that are in the yellow zone and the red zone. And so for every child that's in the yellow zone or the red zone, we do have plans that we have in place for each one of them. And this is our dramatic decrease that we've seen in our office referrals, and that's in the first year of implementation. And I think overall we've seen a decrease of 200 referrals. So along with recognizing and identifying when we have some areas that we need to reteach, some social skills or expectations, we also like to recognize when students are demonstrating what they're supposed to be doing. So we have some positive incentives. This is our Silver Trash Can Award, and that gets recognized within the kindergarten through 2nd grade and 3rd through 5th grade. We have one winner. It's very coveted, by the way. One winner in K2 and one winner in 3-5, and that goes to the classroom that has demonstrated the most clean. So the custodians take a part in this, and they determine who is the Silver Trash Can winner. So at the end of the week, we recognize them, and then they pass the trash can out. And it's pretty impressive. The kids are very excited. And along with that, we also involve, because PBIS includes everybody, all staff, we also involve the kitchen staff. And so we teach students to use their manners and make sure that they clean up after themselves in the cafeteria. So there is the Golden Spoon Award. And again, 2 classes are chosen, K2 and 3-5. And the kids are really proud of themselves because it's that ownership piece that they've taken on. Those are the recent winners. This is our Line Basic, and that's our janitor, Jim. He plays such an active role in what we do at Wilson. And he hands out the golden tickets, and that is a Line Basic golden ticket. So if we see students in the hallway, you can't give to your own students, but you can give to other classes. Some days, occasionally we have a double ticket day, but when the students earn 30, their classes earn 30 golden tickets, then they get an extra little recess in there. So everybody takes part in that. And we also have our students that demonstrate the life skills. We've pulled that piece into it, and we call them our Freddie Life Skill Feathers. Those are our red feathers. And they get placed on the grade level poster in the hallway. And at the end of the week, we do, whenever we recognize a student going above and beyond what we would expect them to do, then we have just a little bit of an incentive. We draw from that in each grade level. At the end, announce their names, and then they have a little treat from me. So it's kind of a fun thing. And then we started this, and it kind of erupted and got a little crazy, and it was kind of our pay it forward, and we had to bring it back down because Wilson is kind of known for being a family, and they always want to not leave anybody out. So we now have a staff golden feather, and we have 3 feathers that we share once a month, and one person recognizes someone else in the staff for just going above and beyond, helping them out for whatever. So Miss GQ is one of our recent golden staff members. And we do have our student council here tonight, and they're going to come up and share with you, and you can help them out too. I'm close. Uh-oh. You guys brought him too? Oh my gosh. Yay! So this is our SOAR that we say every day, and they're going to lead you in it to come help out. All right, whenever you're ready.
Little Falcon family, little Falcon family, little Falcons have empathy, little Falcons have empathy, little Falcons bully free, little Falcons bully free, little Falcons soar with me, little Falcons soar with me. Safety first, safety first. Own your actions, own your actions. Always cooperate, always cooperate. Respect yourself, respect yourself. Respect others, respect others. Falcon soar, Falcon soar.
So thank you for giving us an opportunity to share with you just a day in the life of Wilson, and I'm impressed with what the staff has done, and they've done it all, and the kids are amazing. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Tanya.
Yes.
And just so everybody's aware, we do have 26 open forum requests. However, we typically do allow any comments. I just ask if there are any for the board to keep them brief. Are there any comments? Director Sherwood?
Just real quick, I'm a big fan of PBIS, and you guys are doing a wonderful job with it. How do you communicate your goals with the parents when you have a secondary or tertiary student? How do you communicate those goals, and how do you measure all these things?
Well, number one, we do use on Infinite Campus, there is a system.
Tanya, could you come up to the microphone, please?
Yes, I can. There is a system on Infinite Campus that we use to help track it. But any time a child is sent out of the classroom, whoever the sender would be, or recognizing that behavior, they would call and they would contact the parents. So they know right away when their child has received a referral. And then when we're looking at some of the students that have 3 to 5 referrals, and we're starting to see some of maybe a pattern in the behavior, and that's where we would look at maybe they need something like a check-in, check-out, they need to stop in and have some kind of a mentor. So it varies with each child and kind of their situation. So having the parents, we get them involved right away.
And you have a team that makes those decisions about, the PBIS normally would have a team that makes those decisions about what interventions you're going to use?
We usually, that team would consist of myself, Ms. Currents, the counselor, the teacher, Mrs. Gilliland, our Sam, and then anybody else that would, maybe an expert that we would pull in that we would need. It just kind of depends on the kid. You know, sometimes we pull in, like Janitor Jim sometimes is used as a positive influence. So it just varies with each kid. You got to figure out where they're at and meet them there.
Congratulations. Cool program. Thanks.
Thanks.
Director Crumwoody?
Just real quick, thank you, Tanya, and thanks to all of your staff and the students especially. Thank you for your excellent presentation. You did mention, I have a quick question, you mentioned a decrease in discipline referrals.
Yes.
What academic changes have you seen? Any as far as achievement? Have you seen much turnaround this year? It's somewhat difficult sometimes to primarily say this is the reason why we're seeing a change in the behavior and the academic piece of it, but I would say that, naturally when a child's in the classroom versus out of the classroom, because typically with a referral you're looking at about 30 minutes of them outside of the classroom, so we try to track that too, and we've even used the data in saying how many days, how many hours we've lost instruction. So I don't think we could pinpoint exactly. I mean, obviously I have an amazing staff, and they're going to say, it's because of their phenomenal instruction, but it's also because the kids are in the classroom, and as long as they're in there, and we figured out kind of their antecedent, what's happening with their behavior, what's going on, and if we figured that out, then we try to, our goal is to keep them in the classroom. So a lot of those Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions that we use, that helps with that piece of it. Okay,
so,
thank you. Great
You're
job.
welcome.
Director Kluhl?
Just a couple of things. I think it's great that you've engaged the kids in this and made them feel a part of the program. It's I guess it kind of reminds me of Dumbo, the story about Dumbo the elephant. You remember Dumbo the elephant, right, kids? Right? All right. But I'm thinking of the feather, the magic feathers, and I'm thinking of Timothy the mouse and what Timothy did with that feather, helping Dumbo realize that Dumbo could fly, the things that you can do. And I think that engages kids in a way that having those things just listed up on the board would never do. And the second thing is parent engagement. Obviously, you have no problem with parent engagement at Wilson, and that is key, so important, something that we always talk about and always think about in terms of trying to educate our kids is having that parent piece, and you've got it. So that's great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you very much, Tanya, and all of you for the presentation. Move on to presentation on Jefferson Edison. Superintendent Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wasn't sure if we had people, but now I see them back there. So Laura Hayes and Christy Pitts, I'm not sure who's going to make the presentation, but thanks for being with us. I don't know. We told them 10, 15 minutes. So we'll see.
Good evening, and thank you for having us again. My name is Laura Hayes, and I'm the Senior Director of Achievement with Edison Learning, and this is our periodic update to the board to share with you about Jefferson Edison, and our slides are coming up. Do I point at it? We have 4 parts of our presentation we're going to share with you quickly. First, we're going to go over the current affairs of the school, and our principal, Christy Pitts, will share that. And then I'll come back and share a few of the description of services from Edison Learning. Brett Fechner, our Director of Achievement, who works most closely with the school from Edison, will talk about some of our results. And then we're happy to entertain any questions. So with that, Principal Pitts.
Thank you. All right. As many of you guys know already, we've talked about that our school uses Evaluate data. It's a monthly benchmark assessments that our 2nd through 5th grade students are assessed on every month. They're assessed on the reading side and also on the math side. This is the main screen that you will see, and of course what we would like to see is more green and yellow dots. So on the math side, this is March results. What we are looking at is growth, and we're looking at participation. With our spring break, we had some kids ill, so not everyone has been assessed. But our math side is definitely a lot stronger, and we've known that for throughout this school year. And our reading side, even though we are making progress on that, is still not where we want it to be. But this gives me a great snapshot of what's going on with my student assessment and what's going on in the classrooms. On the growth side, you see arrows trending down. We don't want that, but that gives me an opportunity within our house meetings every week to discuss what's going on, but it also gives me an opportunity to sit with my staff, pull up questions that our students weren't proficient on, and really dive into that question and figure out why students chose the answers that they did. That helps us provide a great avenue towards our reading intervention and also our math intervention. On this slide here is our proficiency by grade levels for each month, and what we want to do is see is a trend going up. And as you can see, that December and March, per se, especially on the math side of things, have been our stronger performances. And I count that and contribute that to that our students have been in school. There weren't so many breaks and breakup in instruction, so that consistent instruction, especially with my students, is very helpful. We want more kids to fall into the green and yellow and less to fall into the orange and red. So this still gives us a great synopsis of what's going on and where we need to grow and where we need to go. Gives us some great direction for, again, math intervention and reading intervention with our students.
So I want to share just a moment about some of the activities going on from the Edison side. Each one of our students, we've prepared an assessment binder so the students, the teachers, the parents, anybody, any visitors who are there can actually see where students are month to month with some of the data that Ms. Pitts was talking about. We have achievement teams, and 100% of our teachers are involved in these data meetings, weekly and daily. So they're looking at the data that Ms. Pitts was talking about, digging into it, looking at an item analysis, looking at trends across the classroom, rolling up to looking at trends across the school. Ms. Pitts leads the data meetings and the house team meetings every week. The literacy coach leads data meetings also around literacy. From Edison directly, we have Mr. Fechner, who spends much of his time at Jefferson, and he monitors with the campus the monthly thresholds. So as we're looking at our evaluate data that Ms. Pitts was talking about before, we know what the thresholds should be monthly for students to reach the outcomes that we want at the end of the year. So we monitor that carefully. I have a call with Ms. Pitts once a month on those red bubbles you saw, so we can talk about the red measures that we call them. Where are we growing? Where are we not growing? Drilling down into that to see exactly what kind of support she needs, and then we deploy that support to her. Ms. Gorman is our math director. So she will look at the strengths and skills in the math analysis and work with Ms. Pitts on the kinds of professional development we need. What do we need to do next? Ms. Kelly does the same thing in the reading area. She's our literacy specialist. And Ms. Oppenheimer is our specialist in the area of special education. And she works with Ms. Pitts on the trends that we're seeing with special needs students. And each of these specialists also work to provide professional development, oftentimes in conjunction with teachers on the campus, so it's very tailored specifically to the needs of the campus. And we're going to have Mr. Fechner come and talk about what kinds of results we've seen.
So one of the things that we keep reminding ourselves and being asked about is what are the trends over the course of the time that Edison Learning has been at Jefferson Edison. And so this is a real quick snapshot, and actually Don Anderson Rauscher actually created this and gave us the data. So you can see over the course since 2001 where we started, where we peaked in 2004, and really, you know, from a reading standpoint, it's kind of staying flatlined right around that 60%. And then over the course, honestly, of the last, you know, couple of years, we've seen a decrease in reading. You can also see the trend for mathematics. And again, we had a huge spike in 2004, a drop, and then again, we've come back a little bit and pretty much flatlined over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. One of the things that both Christy and Laura have alluded to were these thresholds. And really what the threshold is telling us through the use of some data trends, it aligns the Iowa assessment with our evaluate data, and it gives us a certain number that says within reason, 95% of these students are going to be proficient on the Iowa assessment. And so you can see here over the course of the year in the green that we have increasingly went up in our trend in students who we really believe are going to be proficient in Iowa core standards at grade level. And this is whole school, so this would be 2nd through 5th grade. That's where we take the evaluate. You can also see over the course of the last 3 years, just zeroing in, again focusing on fidelity to the Edison Learning model, is that over the course of the last 3 years we've also increased on a monthly basis. And so this is reading. One of the tools that we provide and that we provide our teachers, and what Ms. Pitts uses during these house meetings, is really a look at specific students. So each line here, each row, is actually a student. And so you can see, you can drill down to a month-to-month basis for students on how they're performing. So those students that are in the green are students who are most likely proficient at the Iowa Common Core. It also helps us identify the students who need additional support. And so we talk both about kids who need additional support and students who are successful. You can also see the subgroups are identified as well. And that's to ensure that we look at, we know that there's a discrepancy between students of color and students of non-color. So we really look at those things. So that's reading. Again, you can see in the math it's the same premise. An increase over the course of the year and an increase over the last 3 years and every month. February was a decrease in math, and some of that, not that it's an excuse, we attribute to, as Christy was saying, some of the breakup of instruction and the state testing. We also noticed that it was a trend in other Edison schools in February. And so schools in Duluth, schools in Las Vegas, their math scores also decreased in February. So again, it gives us an opportunity to look at what are those types of questions. Again, the teachers have provided the same thing in math, and specifically drilling down to students is really where we focus on. And so again, our mission is always, to support the learning and the teaching in a collaborative partnership with the Davenport School District. So if you have any questions, we are definitely here for the answers.
Any questions or comments by the board? Director Sherwood?
One of the last times, I don't know if it's the last time, but one of the last few times when you've come before us, Director Crumwoody had asked you to give us some information on the success of your students at the next level, how they're performing at the intermediates. And you've had some time. Have you gathered that information?
Actually, Dawn has helped out in that area, so I don't have the data with me here, but she definitely does. So she has went back and pulled students who attended Jefferson who are now still in our school system.
I would appreciate if you'd share that with us, even just in an email would be fine.
Okay. Can do that.
Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Excuse me, before we go on with communications, I want to apologize to everybody here because this is going to be a long meeting, I believe. And there's a lot on the agenda, and we have a lot of open forums. But I guess we'll work through it. Communications, including the open forum, March 26th, 6:30 p.m., Board Diversity Training, ASC, Jim Hester Boardroom. April 1st, 5:30 p.m., Committee of the Whole meeting, ASC Jim Hester Boardroom. April 3rd, 4 o'clock p.m., Policy meeting, ASC Jim Hester, ASC Executive Boardroom. April 4th, 4 p.m., Legislative Advocacy meeting, ASC Executive Boardroom. April 8th, 7 p.m., regular board meeting, ASC Jim Hester Boardroom. April 22nd, 7 p.m., regular board meeting, ASC Jim Hester Boardroom. April 25th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., Alice Public Forum number 1 at the Bluegrass Elementary Cafeteria. Next is open forum for community input. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak should fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. The Iowa Open Meetings Law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The President will set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak during open forum. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community during open forum. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. The board is appreciative of the community's interests in our deliberation regarding school boundaries and open enrollment. We value input that will allow us to make a thoughtful decision in the educational best interest of our students. However, remarks that reflect negatively upon specific schools or disparage the students and staff assigned to those schools will be called out of order, and the speaker will be asked to conclude their remarks immediately. Tonight we have 26 open forum requests. The first open forum request is from Ty Cutcomp, and Ty has been trying to get into our board meetings for several weeks. I did authorize Ty to 5 minutes, and that's why I'm allowing him up here. He had a prior request, which is something that any one of you can do. All of the rest of the open forum requests will be 2 minutes. And before you start, Ty, I do want to just give those of you that are coming up an idea of what the order is for the first several speakers. After Ty will be Katie Strezpeck, Colin Bell, Sally Ellis, Jamie Snyder, Joshua Beasley, Lori Stevens, Jordan Rockhill, Alexander Wilga, Jamie Pratt, Amber Ehlers, Olivia Saul, Alana Wollison, Rebecca Jones, Ben Greiner, Bruce Atkinson. Okay, Ty, the floor is yours.
My name is Ty Cutcomp. I live at 33 Oak Lane here in Davenport. As the board knows, on behalf of ASME, I represent the custodial, security, warehouse, copy center, secretary, food service, and paraeducator employees of Davenport schools. That's quite a list. On November 30th, we were informed that the District Resource Allocation Committee had recommended that 9 district functions be reviewed for potential outsourcing. We represent 2 of those functions, namely custodial and security employees. Let me start by saying that we oppose any outsourcing of district jobs, whether we represent the workers or not. That is a race to a place where no one in the district benefits, in our opinion. Most citizens of Davenport are familiar with the district custodians and security officers. They know they perform quality work that benefits district families. If they encounter an emergency, they know how to react. They don't run away from problems, they run to problems. A head custodian like Dave Stage or Jim Young will never turn away from a threat to our children. They will go into it head first. They have in the past, and they will in the future. They're a known, trusted team player in our district schools. But the custodians and security officers are more than just people who are on top of emergencies. They're invested in our community. They're coaches. They're involved in scouting. They're involved in the PTAs. They volunteer with Toys for Tots. They attend district sporting events. They're involved in veterans activities in their churches. There's a lot of other stuff, but I'll stop with that list there. These employees hold good middle-class jobs. They view this as a career versus a stopgap job till they find a better one. To them, Davenport Schools may own the building, but it's their school when they work there. From the input that the board received at the 6 public forums, it ought to realize what I am saying is more than just my opinion. It clearly seems to be the collective opinion of at least the majority of the public. Not one speaker at any of the 6 forums spoke positively to the concept of outsourcing. Now let me turn to the gist of my presentation. In brief, the recommendation to begin reviewing outsourcing is, at a minimum, premature. The prospect of outsourcing is being advanced as a potentially viable option concerning district budget problems. I would point out that it is but one potential option. I would also say, in my opinion, that it's a wrong option. The affected parties should be afforded opportunity to collaboratively work with the district via interest-based discussions or other means to find other potential resolutions. Using the terminology of interest-based problem solving, taught by the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, the idea of contracting out is a position. The FMCS defines a position as, and I quote this, one party's solution to an issue, often an inflated requirement, rigidly held, setting the stage for conflict and precluding cooperation. The issue in this situation, as they call it, is the district budget situation. I would say that there are many other potential options that, when discussed and given proper consideration, could result in a win-win outcome versus the win-lose outcome of outsourcing. We would prefer to be a participant in determining potential solutions rather than being told that one position is the correct approach. If this outsourcing review is approved, each of these 9 functions is going to be on the defensive the entire time, versus being able to constructively offer options for improvement. In addition, district personnel are going to be fixed on that one position to resolve the issue versus having willingness to discuss alternatives. In closing, I request that the board eliminate from the budget approval process the recommendation concerning outsourcing. And by the way, I did check with the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, and they still provide interest-based problem-solving training, and they charge nothing for that training. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Katie?
Katie Strezpeck, 3821 Kenwood Avenue. I'm here to support TAG. I appreciate the support that you gave TAG at some of your last meetings. All 3 of my children are involved in the TAG program here. I'm glad that you're supporting the program at the high school level, and I want to encourage you to include full-time staff for the intermediate schools as well. This is a time when a lot of students leave the Davenport schools. They're afraid of what happens at the middle school. It's very important to keep us a district of distinction at the middle school level. Had the opportunity to work with those teachers through History Day. We have some outstanding TAG teachers, and we really need the full-time staffing to keep all the programs available for our kids. Middle school is a time when sometimes kids feel geeky and out of place, and TAG is a place where they can feel strong and not hide their light under a bushel and dumb themselves down. And so I hope that you will continue for the allowable growth for that, even if you have to take from the general fund. I also want to support the custodial staff. I think the Wilson presentation said it really well. The custodial staff are the eyes and ears of our school. They're the ones who raise our flag in the morning, they mow our lawns, and they make us look good. And we don't need to outsource those positions either. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next is Colin Bell.
Hello, my name is Colin Bell. I live at 2733 West 37th Street, and I would like to speak to you on behalf of the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts of the Iowa Council. The Iowa Council is concerned that if the Board of Education elects to privatize the custodial department, it may have a negative effect on scouting. Many of our troops and packs meet in the schools after regular school hours. There are occasions when custodians are asked to let us into rooms to retrieve equipment, and they help us willingly as a part of their job and a personal way to support scouting. We are concerned that if the department is privatized, the company may dictate that their employees not work with scouts, or may charge extra fees to the troop or pack for anything extra they have to do. Scouting has long had a motto of leave no trace, meaning clean up after yourselves. With that in mind, we truly try to leave the rooms we use in better condition than when we came. On occasions when we may not fully live up to this motto, I know that the custodial staffs have worked with us to both keep the facility neat and clean for the school, but also to work with our packs and troops to realize what we need to do is keep the schools clean. The Iloa Council is grateful to use Davenport Schools facilities to hold our meetings. Scouting has had a great relationship with the current custodial staffs, and we are concerned that our privatized staff may not be willing to work with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Next is Sally Ellis.
Thank you for hearing me tonight. Sally Ellis, 2216 North Nevada, a retired head custodian, 33 and a half years. This is continued from the last meeting. On the outsourced cleaning, graffiti on buildings must be removed quickly. Your custodial department orders out a power washer and it's done. Don't think so with outsourcing. Gym ceiling lights, custodial orders the cherry picker. It's done. Don't think so with the outsourcing. Emergency mechanical situations in buildings. Minimum wage workers know nothing about that stuff. So you'll have to cancel school until it gets fixed. Permar calls in the middle of the night, break-ins, police, custodian shows up, can tell what's missing, takes care of whatever is needed. Outsourcing, no way. Here are some things you can also forget about. Energy savings, forget about that one. Recycling, forget about that. Preventative maintenance, forget that. Do you realize how many pumps, compressors, motors that need greased or oiled, belts, filters that need changing on schedule, chemical testing for adding and blowdowns needed on the boiler, water heater safety, pop-offs checks, safety valves? I believe removing your custodial staff from the building opens you up for suing. Should there be a bad accident, outsource have no knowledge of these things in your buildings, and you could be sued by the parents. Stranger danger, plenty of that. Constant turnover of workers. Who has the keys? Plenty of that. Who lost the keys? Plenty of that. Your custodian? Oh, shoot. Darn it. Continue next week.
All right. Thank you, Sally. All right. Next is Jamie Snyder.
Hi, my name is Jamie Snyder, 1805 Valley Drive in Davenport. I wanted to talk tonight about the open transfer policy in this district. I think we're all in agreement that something needs to be done immediately at the elementary level through the middle schools level, putting together a better feeder program for our district. Let's get these elementary kids out of the hallways and out of the corners of the buildings and back into classrooms where they belong. To stop there and not include the high schools is irresponsible. We're talking about a policy that just under 18% of the kids in the district utilize. By allowing this to continue, you are turning your backs on the other 82% whose programs are diminished and cannot operate to their full potential. Teachers cannot plan appropriately because they don't know how many kids they're going to have or how long they're going to stay. All of our high schools have the same curriculum that is established for them by leaders at the Administrative Service Center. For the few programs that are offered at some schools and not others, all kids are still open to utilize these programs. My daughter took German at another high school because it was not available at hers. I didn't open transfer her to that school so she could take German class. All of the high schools have award-winning music programs. All of the schools have outstanding teachers. All of our high schools will give your children a quality education that will set them up for success in life. We have a huge perception problem in our district, and as long as you continue to allow open transfers, you're endorsing this perception problem. As far as having the right to choose, I can very much respect that, but what is it that we're actually teaching our kids? We as adults understand that we don't get to choose everything in life. Why is it wrong for our kids to have the same understanding? To sacrifice 82% of the students to accommodate 18 is just wrong. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Next is Joshua Beasley.
Hello, my name is Coach Bees. Yes, sir. Everybody calls me Coach Bees. I'm here representing and speaking on behalf of Dad's Club. I'm the president of Dad's Club at Wilson Elementary School. I live on 2322 Jebbins Avenue, Davenport, Iowa, 52804. For years, Dad's Club has worked with Davenport schools to promote sportsmanship and athletics to our youth. We gratefully use many of the school grounds for soccer, softball, and flag football practices, games. During the winter, we use every gymnasium possible for basketball, and those gyms are at premium. As you know, volleyball goes on at the same time for all of the teachers as well. We currently work with the custodial staff after hours, practices, and even on Saturdays at our games. Our concern that is privatized staff could jeopardize our ability to offer sports, especially basketball, inside the schools. Dad's Club appreciates the relationships that we build with the Davenport schools, and we are concerned about the changes you are considering. Please let us keep our custodians at our schools for us. We love them. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Next is Lori Stevens.
Hello, I am Lori Stevens. I live at 3230 West Overcourt in Davenport. I am here to show support for the Intermediate Tag Program. With the Intermediate Tag Program, kids at that age are in a really awkward stage. Like Katie Strezpeck mentioned earlier, it's at the age where they're just discovering themselves. They're awkward, it's geeky, but with Intermediate Tag, what we can do is develop those skills to show that learning is fun. We've had National History Day, we have Iowa Stories, we have many different activities, mock trial that kids participate in that give them leadership skills, that give them confidence, that go beyond the things that are offered in the regular classroom. Also, with the tag programming in the middle school, we are able to co-teach in different honors classes and offer differentiated instruction to the teachers. Teachers are very limited on their time, just as anybody in the education field is, and with the limited time, as a resource, a tag facilitator can sit there and offer those above and beyond activities for the students. With the data teams, we also look at the kids who are proficient and above, and then we offer differentiation within the data teams for those students. Without us being there full time, the teachers won't have the time to necessarily do all that, and we're going to be letting the students that are above and beyond start to go down towards the middle and accept the status quo. There is many times that I give my hours before school, after school, and on the weekends to help support the kids in the activities that they do, and the passion that comes out of them by seeing it's not whether they go to state or it's not whether they, make it to regionals. It's the learning process that we instill in them in the tag program that helps them grow and figure out what their passions are. And I hope to keep Intermediate Tag full-time for next year.
Thank you, Lori. Next is Jordan Rockhill.
Hello, my name is Jordan Rockhill. I live at 2715 Dean Avenue. I am a 7th grader at Frank L. Smart Junior High.
Hey, Jordan, would you pull the microphone down a little bit so we can hear you better? Thank you.
I'm a 7th grader at Frank L. Smart Junior High. I have been in tag since elementary school. Being in the TAG program forces kids to challenge themselves to work a little harder. Without TAG, students would be just random kids who get grades just to pass them through school. The TAG program has benefits that help prepare us for the future. Some of us would like to have a chance to participate in activities like college trips, job shadowing, and destination imagination. But without TAG, these opportunities may not be possible for us. Our school is in a low-income area, and the funding is important to help us to be able to do these kinds of activities. Thanks to the TAG program, we had a regional competition for National History Day at St. Ambrose University. 6 or more groups were chosen to represent Davenport Community Schools in Des Moines. My partner Amaya Dugan and I were one of these groups. Without funding of the TAG program, Davenport Community Schools may not have been represented at this competition. Because we have the funding, we are going to state and representing our teachers, our school, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Next is Alexander Wilga.
Good evening. My name is Alex Wilga. I live at 1725 Winding Hill Road here in Davenport. I am one of the band directors at Central High School, and on behalf of the music department, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Tate and the school board for helping progress in our want and need for our own facility for performing arts on the campus of Central High School. We understand that this evening you'll be listening to the proposal from CSO Architectures from Indianapolis, and we are very excited that this process is going to move forward and are so appreciative of everything that you do for our music programs, not only at Central, but across the district. Short and sweet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Next is Jamie Pratt.
Hi. Jamie Pratt, 808 South 9th Avenue, Eldridge. But I am a teacher at Wood Intermediate. I want to reference that folder you got last week for you to re-reference, especially you, Pat, 'cause you weren't here. And I'm speaking in favor of full-time intermediate tag. And obviously, I'm passionate about middle school education, and it is an awkward stage. And when you are chronologically the same age as your peers, but intellectually you are not, it presents another level of challenge that many people can't imagine. I mean, I went through it myself in Bettendorf schools, K-12, and it makes a huge difference. The Davenport Community Schools seeks to be a district of distinction, and I believe we are on our way toward that shared goal. An essential element of becoming distinct from other districts involves building our academics as well as our students up, and I can attest to that working with PB, Bettendorf, in Rome at the American Overseas School of Rome, in a little rural school, and my place that I love, Wood Intermediate. Our mission statement says we want to compete in a global society. Our students are capable of becoming world-class competitors. This being said, I feel like Dr. Seuss is the Lorax because I speak for the trees. The trees are our students. Their roots are elementary tag. Their sturdy, strong trunk is intermediate tag. And their varied branches and beautiful foliage are the ample opportunities of high school. You cannot have healthy, life-giving trees if you hack the trunk in half. The tree may weakly recover, partially die, or fully sever the branches from the roots. If you want to compete in a global society, it won't be by deforesting your land of healthy, life-giving trees. When I was co-planning with a 6th grade science teacher today, which heavily involves our community leaders coming in to do a project at Wood, the teacher remarked how she could never bring the high levels of differentiation, multiple speakers, and a positive public presentation without the support of TAG. She said, I quote, "The TAG program is essential and should not be cut ever. How could we fill all the gaps TAG fills for our highest achievers? Please don't cut our intermediate TAG students down to one size fits all."
Thank you, Jamie. Next is Amber Ehlers.
Good evening, I am Amber Ehlers. I live at 2817 West 66th Street. I am here tonight to speak on behalf of the Wood Intermediate TAG program. Members of the school board, I am addressing you tonight to state my dismay at the idea of the TAG time getting cut in half. Special kids like myself need that time in the day to stimulate a challenge for our brains.
Our ordinary everyday classes don't always provoke our brains or spark our interests. They are mind-numbing and dull, boring without end. Our tag days are our only ray of sunshine in a dark, colorless school week. We are all special and need special undivided attention. Our other teachers, as much as they'd like to, cannot do this for us. Only our tag teachers can. They know what we need and have to have in order to thrive and be successful. Think about what you're doing to children desperately in need of that environment. Think about what will happen if you take that stimulating environment and cut it in half. Do you really think we will be as successful? If you honestly think that, let me tell you the harsh truth. We won't. One might argue that the tag takes away from our core classes, but what use is it learning something we already understand, something we already know? Tag introduces us to something new every day, while also acquainting us with the knowledge of what we are capable of. If you take away that time from us, then we will have nothing new to learn. So before you make that decision about cutting tag time, think about the tag kids. Think in our school district. Think about how you are hurting us and our education. Thank you for listening to my point of view, and please consider keeping the tag program for our intermediate students a full-time program.
Thank you, Amber. Next is Olivia Saul.
Hi, my name is Olivia Saul, and I live on 1320 West 60th Street. I believe that the tag program should not be cut in half because if it wasn't for tag, I wouldn't have known that it is okay to get a wrong answer on a test and that you shouldn't be ashamed of it. The tag program has helped others that had this issue too, and now they feel way better about their grades and themselves. TAG has created a community of people who are overachievers to come and just let out their feelings. For some people who are overachievers like us, the normal classes that are given are not challenging enough to learn or even have fun. TAG provides us with challenging work that is made fun. If there were less TAG time, coming to school would be a drag. Having TAG has gotten me so far from when I first started. It has taught me a lot about National History Day, too. If it wasn't for TAG, I wouldn't have gotten interested in National History Day, and my group wouldn't have gotten to state. If you make TAG halftime, it would be like cutting a chunk out of someone. If it wasn't for TAG, I would not have done things that I thought I couldn't do. I wouldn't even try. But after I got in TAG, I knew that even if I think I can't do something, I will never know until I try. Thank you for your time, and I hope you will decide to not cut time out of TAG.
Thank you, Olivia. Next is Alana Willison.
Hi, my name is Alana Willison. I'm here tonight to make a point about our intermediate TAG program at Wood. This program has helped.
Could you give us your address too, please?
My address is 4611 Warren Street.
Thank you.
This program has helped me a lot with figuring out more about others myself around me. I believe this program should not be cut because many others benefit from this. We learn how to work with others and find strength within ourselves. On days when I have TAG, I'm happier and look forward to the time when I get to have fun. Math TAG is once a week, and NHDA is 3 times a week. Kids our intellectual levels and are around our age have difficulty fitting in because middle school is such an awkward and hard time for us, and because we feel that it is much harder for us to express ourselves to our peers. Getting a good education is about making the most of it and gaining a better understanding of life in general. In the end, TAG has helped me become more confident and defined with a good structural base. Without all these awesome meetings, to be honest, I don't think I would have made it to state. TAG hasn't necessarily taught me to be different. It's taught me that being different is okay. Please reconsider cutting the TAG program in half. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. Next is Rebecca Jones.
Hi,
I am Rebecca Jones, and I live at 2815 Fair Avenue. I am currently a senior at Davenport Central, and I'm the current Drama Club president. And on behalf of the Drama Club, I would like to thank you for the approval of our new auditorium. And although I'm a senior, I have a sister going through, so it's still really important for me that we have a great facility that we'll be able to use. The Drama Club uses the auditorium for different practices. We have small one-act shows and improv shows, and we also use it for some of our larger meetings. And being able to have more space is great. We'll be able to grow and expand, and just we'll be able to make our drama department even better. And thank you again for the approval.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next is Ben Greiner.
Hello, my name is Ben Greiner, and I am currently a freshman at Davenport Central. I am involved in the drama department, musical, plays, choir, show choir, principals leadership team, Iowa Safe and Sporty Schools, and TAG.
Hey, Ben, I hate to interrupt you. I need your address, too.
My 2319 East High Street.
Thank you.
In Davenport. On behalf of my arts director, Ms. Sinfeld, and on behalf of the drama department, we would like to thank you very much for the approval of our new auditorium. Over the next 3 years, I'm excited to be part of this process and by my senior year, participate in productions on our new stage. I have a brother coming in, so it's exciting to see him on that stage too, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Next is Bruce Atkinson.
Hi, I'm Bruce Atkinson. I live at 1521 College Avenue. First, I'd like to salute the Central Mock Trial Team B. The team won regional competition and goes to state tomorrow. Thank you for maintaining Central's TAG program so this success may continue. Please maintain intermediate TAG as well. Some of the team have had 3 years of intermediate mock trial experience at the intermediate level. We all learn in different ways. That's why we need choices. I brought a visual demonstration. We have three high schools. You know what they are: Central and West and North. Some want to throw up barriers that prevent students from easily moving from high school to high school. Time and money will be spent, and educational plans will be disrupted. Proponents believe the magic of hardening these boundaries will make all these schools the same, so that one could pick out a school and say, see, this school is the same as the other schools. Perhaps the schools will be similar at first, but the Brown versus Topeka Board of Education ruling stated, separate is inherently unequal. Being different is okay. Embrace the differences. Each student is unique. The schools should be as well. Allow families to choose the high school that makes education magical. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Next, Beth Miller, and while Beth is coming up, the rest to follow would be Jim Young, Cynthia Weeks, Joe Heinrichs, Kaylee Leonard, Janan Douglas, Dale Hale, Jen Josand, Holly Mammon, Heather Johnson. Great. Thank you, Beth.
My name is Beth Miller. I live at 2807 Grand Avenue in Davenport, and I'm a TAG facilitator at Williams Intermediate School. And I'd like to thank everybody here for, I guess, the opportunity to teach in Davenport. I came from a very large school district. I taught in Las Vegas, Nevada for 14 years. And in a large school district, there's no such thing as one TAG facilitator per building. This is the very first district that I've ever worked in where I've only been in one school. In Las Vegas, I traveled to 17 schools. So in one school, you could be gifted on the first Tuesday of every month, etc. And, you know, can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Is it in the best interest of children? No, it's not. But we do what we need to do. That said, I'd like to remind you that you are familiar probably with the TAG program at Williams, because I've been in here with students a couple of times this year to share their success stories. I'm sure you've also heard on the local news some of the things that are going on, not only at Williams, but within the other TAG programs. And I truly enjoy working with these kids. They are wonderful. But the TAG program is not about my job. It's not about how many schools I go to. I know I can go to 17 schools, and this city is nothing like where I came from. I'm sure the traffic would not be so bad commuting. But what it is about, it's about nurturing students and their talents and their creativity, and that's what I think we need to focus on. Balancing a budget is not easy. We all know that from our personal lives. We've all had to do it. No matter what it takes, I want all of you to know that I will continue to do my very best to serve students in Davenport. I want what's best for students. And if you decide that what's best for the intermediate students is to have them receive TAG services half-time, I will do my best to provide TAG services for those students.
Beth,
I think you understand.
Beth, time's up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Next is Jim Young.
Hi, my name's Jim Young, 1830 Elmwood Drive, Bettendorf. And I got an email from an ex-student. I haven't seen this kid from probably the early 90s, and I just want to share this with you. It says, "Hey, Jim, thanks for being so good to me as a kid. I remember you letting me play on Friday nights when it was closed. I had nothing else, but you gave me somewhere to go. You let me come over on Saturday mornings for your baseball trading groups, and you gave me Bo Jackson cards. He was my hero, and I remember that. And I've never forgotten that, and I need to thank you. We went to Thunder games too. Thanks, Jim. I'll always owe you. You were always my friend." This is what it's all about, people. This is what we do. You bring in a contract service, you're never going to see this. You're going to take this away from the kids. But, you know, I know you got to do what you got to do, but you'd just be wrong. And as far as the TAG program, I wasn't going to speak on this, but I wish I had TAG when I was in school, because I was one of those kids that was way ahead of everybody else, and I had nothing. So I ended up getting in trouble, and if I would have had TAG, I might have been in Dr. Tate's spot. Who knows? Pretty scary, but but thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Cynthia Weeks.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Weeks. I live at 206 Fernwood Avenue, and I come to speak about 3 different issues. The first is to thank Dr. Tate and the administration for being flexible and willing to pull in a committee of different constituencies to discuss the TAG shortfall funding and what could possibly be done. I very appreciated the transparency and his keeping us in line when we got a little rambunctious. I also would like to say that I think that the district has a really unique program in TAG, and I think we need to do a lot more in marketing it. I have a very good series of friends in PV, and when this issue was coming up, I was quizzing them what they had and asking them if they knew about our high school TAG program, would that be a consideration for them to transfer? And much to my surprise, frankly, I wasn't expecting this, but they said yes. We were talking about Central specifically, and they said in combination with the great fine arts programs that having a full-time TAG program would interest them. What also told me that they were completely unaware of this wonderful, unique program that we have in the Davenport School District. So I encourage the administration and the board to fully market this so that people know just how outstanding this program is. And perhaps we can pull some of those PV parents into our district. And lastly, I would like to respectfully request you to consider funding TAG so that it's a full program at all levels. I think we all know that it's not any less important at any particular level. I'm very appreciative that it's going to be full-time at the high school, but I'm dismayed that it affected the intermediates. So I very much appreciate your consideration of that request. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. Next is Joe Heinrichs.
Hello, my name is Joe Heinrichs. I live at 626 Farnham Street, and I would like to speak on behalf of Quad Cities Interfaith. We understand you are struggling with cost and budget issues. We all are. We do not believe that privatizing the custodial, nursing, IT, and other employees currently working for the Davenport schools is the answer. Any company you hire to take on these jobs is in business to make a profit. Though an initial bid may look attractive to get the contract, we suspect that there would be later costs not covered in any initial contract, and these costs could outweigh any savings to the district. We believe that a strong community means strong families, strong students, and strong schools. We only want known and trusted staff around our students, and we don't know that a for-profit company would necessarily conduct as stringent a background check as the Davenport school system does. The safety of our children must be one of our school district's top priorities. I believe that if we lose these great school district employees, our schools will lose a great asset and it will hurt our community. Quad City Interfaith works to help people overcome the obstacles that keep them in poverty. We work to give them a hand up and not just a hand out. We believe that all people should be able to earn a just and living wage. We are concerned that a for-profit company taking over the jobs being discussed may offer a less than living wage to its employees. We are concerned that a privatized company may not do adequate background checks or give adequate training to its employees in order to make or to save money. We do not believe privatizing jobs is the answer to saving the school district money and would like to suggest that the board consider working with the community for a period of time to see if input from the citizens may come up with alternative solutions. And I would also like to echo the concerns brought up regarding TAG. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next is Kaylee Leonard.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Leonard. I live at 4538 South Concord Street, Davenport, Iowa, 52802. And I'm a current 7th grader that participates in the district's Talented and Gifted program. I'm infuriated with your decision to put the TAG program on the line for budget cuts. I find it crucial that the board keeps TAG in the schools. TAG has not only affected me as a person, but has affected many others' lives as well. I thought of myself as a typical underdog of the classroom when I was in 3rd grade. But my teacher knew I had potential. She used to take her lunch breaks and teach me advanced academics, for which our school didn't have TAG program. My parents decided to move, and then they put me in a school that did have TAG. For the first time, I felt connected with academics. I felt like I can strive through the schoolwork and I can just live. TAG helped me excel in life emotionally, physically, and academically. I learned to step out of my comfort box and try new things. I have a huge difficulty seeing how we can step out of our comfort box if you cut TAG halfway and put us back in typical classrooms where we are familiar with the subjects being taught. My mom is struggling with cancer and drug addictions, and my father is in prison for 5 years. But with TAG, I feel like I can show them that I can succeed, I can become my dreams, not just keep dreaming of them. If you take away TAG, you're taking a part of me, my achievements, my self-confidence, and pride away as well. In the previous years, the teachers sent a message to the district that implemented, if you try hard in school, you can achieve anything if you set your mind to it with drive and motivation. If you can't fail unless you give up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kaylee. Next is Jenin Douglas.
Hello, my name is Jenna Douglas. I live at 2344 West 2nd Street. I am here to speak about the Davenport Community Schools TAG program. I am a 6th grader at Frank L. Smart Intermediate, and I feel that TAG is very important. Smart is a school with very low income, and I feel that TAG helps kids who are smart and intelligent. I participated in National History Day in the beginning of March. If the teachers were having to work at 2 or more different schools, students wouldn't get the opportunities they need, and they would just be on their own and maybe failing. TAG also gives schools funds to pay for activities like mock trial and National History Day. I feel that my school and I feel like that at my school the students like our TAG teacher and would probably not be the same without the help of the TAG program. TAG shouldn't be cut. It gives kids a chance to go above and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenin. Next is Dale Hale. You'll have to correct me.
Good evening. My name is Dale Hockey, and I live at 215 Fernwood Avenue. If I had had TAG, my penmanship might have improved. I'm here to personally thank Dr. Tate. When the announcement had come out that there were some proposed cuts in the TAG program, the uproar that was caused by that decision, I think we saw that uproar a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Tate embodied the motto of the school, what if? What if a decision had been made that was hasty? What if a decision had been made that was perhaps incorrect or wasn't supported by all the facts? So I want to personally thank Dr. Tate for the decision, as Cynthia Weeks said, to convene a committee of all of the stakeholders. I applaud the various proposals that came out of that committee, which ultimately include, as a worst-case scenario, a full-time TAG teacher at all 3 of the high schools. Also, to my dismay, as Cynthia's, the decision, worst-case scenario, does compromise the TAG at the at the intermediate levels, and we've heard much more eloquent speakers than I could possibly demonstrate the need for full-time TAG at those schools as well. We're hoping that the 2% will come out and that those positions will be reinstated. In the event that such a case does not occur, we would encourage the board to use whatever financial means it can. So I applaud the decision. I thank Dr. Tate. I thank the board for listening. And on a final note, we're going to miss Dr. Amelia, and I thank her for her past cooperation in other projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dale. Next is Jen Josend, I believe.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
That's all right. Happens all the time. My name's Jen Josend, and I live at 732 West 58th. I'm here again to just touch on the transfer policy. I was very excited last week when I heard some of Dr. Tate's proposals that he had made, particularly because some of the concerns that had been addressed at open forums were embodied in some of the new stuff. Well, I have always been a proponent that everyone should go to their home school. I think that's the right thing to do. When I was in 6th grade, I went to one middle school. They changed the boundaries. I had to go to a different one. I made it through. I turned out fine. Everything was good. Did I want to? No, but I did because my parents thought that was the right thing to do, and I still do. I feel that Dr. Tate's changes as far as getting particularly like Sudlow feeding into Central has addressed a lot of the concerns that parents had about keeping their kids with their friends. Also, the fact that a student can go to another high school for a particular class if they want to addresses that concern. So I guess I'm left with, if these concerns are addressed, the good ones, I'm wondering if we keep the transfer policy open, what is the real reason? I hope there's a good reason to do that, because I see the school district as a district of distinction as having a balanced high school, letting my sons have the same opportunities as kids at Central, as kids at West, as kids at North. I don't think my son should have to decide, well, I really want to do excel in some subject at one school. They're good at that, but another school is good at another thing. They shouldn't have to decide that. Every school should be very similar. And if you, I also don't want you to sacrifice this whole plan because people threaten to leave. If people threaten to leave, let them leave. Let the thousands that are going to stay and be loyal guide your decisions. Thanks.
Thank you, Jen. Next is Holly Mammon.
Hello, my name is Holly Mammon. I live at 1123 Tremont Avenue, Davenport, Iowa. I came here tonight because I strongly believe that even though Washington's crowded and we have to change the boundaries and high schools are going to be affected and middle schools are going to be affected, something still needs to be done about the overcrowding. And I understand that everything is very political, but there are kids shoehorned into schools. And I'm here because I care and I have the time and I'm not working and trying to feed my kids, and those are my top priorities. I'm here because I can be here. A lot of times we don't see parents of, poor kids that are in schools like Washington. We don't see those here. But I urge you to keep those kids at the forefront of your mind, because they are going to affect the kids who have money, the kids who have parents that would come here. They're going to grow up and they're going to realize they didn't have the same choices and the same opportunities that other people, and it's going to affect our community. Also, I was very excited to hear that Wilson's custodian plays such a large part in their school, as does ours. And I believe that all I could think of when I was listening to the Wilson thing was how neat it is that that custodian plays such a large role in their school, and hoping, as does ours, we're going to have fun night soon, and he just offered to let a kid put a pie in his face. So they're just the heart and soul of our schools, so I hope that we don't have to outsource them. And please keep the poor kids in your thoughts, too, when you make decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Next is Heather Johnson.
Hello, Heather Johnson, 505 West 16th Street in Davenport. I wanted to come, and I attended the meeting last week where, and I understand we'll have more discussion of the diversity plan later tonight, and I'm kind of concerned only because it feels like things are evolving and it's a little bit of a bait and switch at this point, that we had all of these public meetings about the boundary changes, and now, there have been changes made to the boundaries to appease certain neighborhoods that is going to have a domino effect on other neighborhoods now, after all of the public meetings and the opportunity for comment is over. And now there's the diversity plan discussion, which is going to affect the ability to transfer when that wasn't part of the open meeting discussions that we had through all of these months. And particularly from the diversity plan that was read last week, Title I, or I should say No Child Left Behind, is one of the reasons that kids will be allowed to transfer. Well, the consequences of transferring for No Child Left Behind only come into play if the school gets Title I, and it's the district that makes that decision. For example, right now, Washington doesn't get Title I because the district decided it doesn't, and therefore those kids aren't offered the opportunity to transfer the same way that other school kids are. And so if this is the path now you're going down with this diversity plan, then the way the district allocates the money is going to have a direct impact on whether or not those kids can transfer, and I don't think that's right. Furthermore, last week we discussed, or you discussed, not moving kids out of the school, and I understand there's hesitancy to do that, but clearly with the boundary changes, it was discussed, and certain neighborhoods are now having their needs met as far as the domino effect of giving those neighborhoods back to the school that they wanted to go to, and there wasn't a problem telling other parents no in that case. And but there is a hesitancy to tell kids, parents of kids in a very overcrowded school, that they can't go to their neighborhood school. Then the board needs to recognize there will be a consequence for that next year. If there is another large kindergarten class or another large class, something has to go away, and the board should decide, is it the art class that's going? What class is going to be given up next year? Because there is no more space at that school if you won't send kids away. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. I want to take a moment and thank all of you. All of your comments are really valuable. The board really looks forward to the community participation. But I wanted to really say something about all of you students that spoke. It was impressive. You were articulate. Your passion, your poise were evident. And it was just really from my, and I think from the whole board's perspective, we truly appreciate all of you students, as well as everybody else, but the students for coming up. I know it takes a lot of fortitude to come up here, so thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Director Crumwitty.
I move the consent agenda as presented by the administration.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seeing.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Is there any discussion? Call for the vote. Director Crumwitty?
Yes.
Director Robertson?
Yes.
Director Zamora?
Yes.
Director Sherwood?
Yes.
Director DeFau?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Thank you. May I have a motion regarding approval of bills?
Mr. President.
Director Kluhl?
Move that the board approve the following resolution. Resolution is as follows. Resolved that all claims presented to the board, having been duly certified as correct by the Secretary, reviewed by the administration and board members, and they are hereby audited and allowed as just claims and warrants drawn in the Treasury for the several amounts. Further resolved, the payment of claims and salaries be approved as presented for the periods March 7th, 2013 through March 20th, 2013.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call for the vote. Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director Zamora?
Yes.
Director Sherwood? Director Crumwitty?
Yes.
Director Robertson?
Yes.
Director DeFau?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Superintendent report.
I'd like to turn to our student representatives. Thank you for being with us tonight and for sticking with us, and start Isaac and go down the line. What's going on?
Well, hi. I'm sorry I came in late today. I was at a banquet for the end of the season for Central's varsity show choir. It's kind of an emotional event, but, you know, it's got to end eventually. Let's see here. On the JROTC side of things, we actually got a lot of stuff done over spring break. We participated in the St. Patrick's Day Parade and got best marching school group. It was some title like that, but we got first in it. So it was cool to see them all come out and, you know, over spring break and put their plans aside to come out in the cold and walk across the bridge, which was terrible. We also had our Raider team, which is our adventure training and physical fitness team, go to St. Joe, Missouri last Saturday, and we took second place in our one rope bridge and third place in a surprise event, and did very well throughout the competition. I very proud that I get to be the team captain of those guys, and they really do all the work. I just do the paperwork, I guess. And from the band side of things, we're getting back into the swing of the year. The freshmen are tackling a college-level piece, and they're having a lot of fun with it. And the top group, our wind ensemble, is gearing up to go to the Iowa Band Association Conference in May to perform for a clinic. So a lot of fun stuff going on at Central.
Okay, I'll talk about this award that we're receiving. Girls Learn International is a club at our school that's been there for 4 years, and I'm in charge of it. And we are being featured in Love Girls magazine. It's a local, kind of like women empowerment magazine here in the Quad Cities, and there is a purple carpet award ceremony happening in April, and Girls Learn was chosen to be represented at this award ceremony, just kind of recognized by the community as an awesome organization that's going on. So,
all right. At North, we just had an odd today for our boys bowling team. They won state, so we celebrated that today. That was really fun. And the choir just went on a trip to New York. Super fun. Had a good time there.
At West, we had the girls had a track meet. It was the Dubuque Invitational, and they took second. We had like a annual day of awareness, and it was called Stomp Out the R Word, which most people know what that is. And like everybody signed a banner at lunch, which was basically like a pledge not to use the word or like any other bullying words. And on March 26th at school, we have like a purple out thing where people are going to wear purple to show awareness of epilepsy. And yep, that's what happened at West.
Coming up next Tuesday, we have the blood drive, which we're very thankful to participate in because it kind of makes us feel like a regular high school. And United Way is going to be coming to do a focus group with parenting students to help them get their children ready for kindergarten. And we're going to be having an 8th grade tour on April 4th. That's it.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Mr. President. That's my report.
Thank you, Sue.